You're welcome. We begin with news in Zamfara State, where residents of Birni Magaji and Kura Namuda local government areas say a new terror group has come to town. This is despite claims by the Nigerian military that it has completely eliminated a good number of terrorists. The locals alleged that the group Dansa Adi is being led by a local resident. Some of them spoke to News Central Television, saying that Kuryar Madaru, located in Karu Namuda local government area, and Yar Kudi, located in Birni Magaji local government area, have continued to suffer from terrorist activities. So, talking security matters, the Nigerian Senate has raised concerns over the whereabouts of over 3,900 missing firearms, as revealed during an investigative hearing by the Public Accounts Committee. An audit report from the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation exposed discrepancies in police armory records between 2000 and 2020, raising alarms over the security implications of the missing weapons. News Central's National Assembly correspondent brings details.
The Auditor General of the Federation reported to lawmakers that in 2018, an audit queried the disappearance of 178,459 different types of arms and ammunition from the police armory without any trace. Additionally, by January 2020, another 3,907 assorted rifles and pistols had vanished from various police formations nationwide.
The total number of lost firearms, as reported as at 31 December 2018, stood at 178,459 pieces. Out of this number, 88,078 were AK-47 rifles, 3,907 assorted rifles and pistols across different police formations that could not be accounted for as at January 2020.
The Senate Committee on Public Accounts criticized the Nigerian police force for its failure to trace the missing firearms or apprehend those responsible.
This is a very big revelation for Nigerians to see what is happening. If 3,900 firearms, mainly AK-47 and other rifles, are in the hands of enemies, that tells you that we are not safe. Even the police is not safe. So we need a proper explanation to this, so we can move this country forward.
In response, the Nigerian police force defended itself, stating that the Inspector General of Police regularly audits firearms and remains committed to ensuring accountability.
Some commands and formation did not report loss of firearms and ammunition. Consequently, signals were sent to the affected formation to produce comprehensive investigation report on the loss of the said ammunition and on the firearms and ammunition.
What you have just said is not correct.
I'm telling you.
Whether by common sense
Or by law.
to make the assumption you have made it to insult the intelligence of the police.
I'm telling you.
When you suggest to us that if an officer moved from Benin on official escort duty to which you officially are legally assigned him, that you will presume his weapon is no longer with him.
However, lawmakers insist that the police provides a clear and public explanation regarding the missing firearms, particularly given rising security concerns across the country. Senators also cited previous reports of security personnel selling arms to criminals, stressing that transparency and accountability are crucial in addressing the issue. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Sagir Ibrahim.
Well, the police also have their own side to this story. In a statement on Thursday, the force spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi dismissed claims that 3,907 firearms are missing from its armory. He said that the allegations were misleading at best. Adejobi acknowledged that the police faced challenges during civil unrest, including attacks on armories, the killing of officers, and the looting of weapons. However, he stressed that significant efforts have been made to recover and account for lost firearms, with many already returned to police armories. The Director General of the Department of State Services, Oluwatosin Ajayi, has called for a policy requiring the recruitment of first-class graduates into the agency to strengthen national security. Speaking at the 2025 Distinguished Personality Lecture at the University of Ilorin, Ajayi, represented by Deputy Director Patrick Ikenwa, stressed the need for top academic talent in intelligence work. He argued that intelligence gathering demands exceptional intellect and proposed a model similar to Israel's selective university recruitment system. Ajayi also underscored the commitment of the DSS to tackling evolving security threats, including terrorism, cybercrime, and economic sabotage. Meanwhile, the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, had applauded the DSS for appointing a woman to a senior leadership role, reaffirming the administration's commitment to gender inclusivity and nation security. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has raised alarm over the rising drug crisis in Nigeria, saying an estimated 14 million citizens are struggling with addiction. Speaking at a drug awareness program in Ondo State, Deputy Commander Yetunde Joyfios warned that many users consume dangerous substances that severely alter their mental state. She stressed the urgent need for stronger community engagement to tackle the worsening crisis. The event, organized by the Oyijifon Youth Council, focused on educating secondary school students, one of the most vulnerable groups. The council president, Adedokun Adeyonu, identified peer pressure and media influence as key drivers of drug abuse, urging society to take stronger measures to protect young people from falling into addiction. Earlier, Public Affairs analyst Francis Chilaka spoke to us on this development.
It's quite alarming. It simply shows that we're losing the fabric of the nation, which is the younger generation. Something needs to be done urgently to arrest this situation. I mean, anybody who gets addicted to using hard drugs, be it the smaller ones or the bigger ones, obviously, the first thing you notice is loss of memory. The person doesn't is unable to concentrate to do the right things, and then from there it develops into stealing. Because you need money to buy these drugs to be able to keep yourself happy. So you begin to steal. Before you know it, you're going to armed robbery, and all kinds of vices. It's a really serious matter. And I'm happy that the group has taken it up to start talking about it in secondary schools. But we need to go beyond that. We need to begin to explore other areas where there is so much abuse. The bus stops. We need to move to the churches. We need to move to the mosques. We need to move to where young people gather and begin to educate them, because we're losing quite a number of our young people. We're having people with terminal illnesses. We're having people with kidney problem and all of that. These are part of the effects of this hard drugs.
Nigeria Senate has passed 4 key bills, including the National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund Establishment Bill and 3 Development Commission bills for the Northwest, Southwest, and Southeast regions. The bills were recommitted to the Committee of the Whole before receiving final approval. Our National Assembly correspondent brings details from the Senate plenary.
The motion for recommittal was moved by Senate Leader Okpeyemi Bamidele, who explained that the bills had contradicted certain sections of the Nigerian Constitution. Bamidele says that lawmakers acted in accordance with Orders 1B and 52 of the Senate Standing Rules, particularly focusing on clauses 14, 15, and 4 sub 1 of the respective bills.
Senate observes that the funding clauses for the Commission and the fund which are proposed to be established as provided in these bills appear to contradict Section 162 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Senate is aware that Section 1, subsections 1 and 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended provide that the Constitution is supreme and any law that contradicts the Constitution shall be null and void to the extent of the contradiction.
Following the passage of the bill, the President of the Senate, Cyril Ramaphosa, commended lawmakers for their commitment to strengthening national development initiatives.
So by these various amendments, from the NYC Act to the Northwest Development Act to the Southeast Development Commission Act to the Southwest Development Commission Act, all are now brought into conformity with the Nigerian Constitution. And we shall now direct that they be transmitted to Mr. President for action. I thank you all.
The Senate also considered the bill seeking to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act, which passed the third reading. Sponsored by Umar Buba, representing Bauchi South in the Senate, the bill seeks to establish an orthopedic hospital in Toro, Bauchi State. The bill was passed following the submission and consideration of a report presented by Ipalibo Banigo, chair of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary Education.
And so our objectives have been that the Federal Orthopedic Hospital, when established in Toro, in Bauchi State, will provide services, diagnostic services, treatment services, from traumatic events such as accidental falls, car accidents, sports injuries, and other emergencies.
When we want to talk about technical areas in education and also technical areas in health, I think these are areas that will need our attention and will need our support.
Following the report submission, the Senate collapsed its plenary into the Committee of the Whole, where the bill underwent a clause-by-clause consideration before being approved.
A bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Cap 010, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2002 and 4, to provide for the establishment of the Orthopedic Hospital in Toro, Bauchi State, and for related matters 2025. Third reading taken and passed.
Afterwards, plenary was adjourned to the next legislative day to allow standing committees to finalize engagements for the passage of the 2025 budget. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Sagir Ibrahim.
It's going to show a break, but before that, let me quickly welcome my guest who's going to give us a bit of insight on the insecurity story regarding the allegations of 3,900 plus firearms missing from the police armory. And to have that conversation with us, we're joined by Darlington Omoro, who's a security expert and will be joining us from Lagos. Darlington, just be on standby. We'll come to you for more on this discussion. But first, let's go on a short break. You're watching News Now here on News Central Television. We'll be back. Now, the Nigeria Senate has raised concerns over the whereabouts of over 3,000 missing firearms, as revealed during an investigative hearing by the Public Accounts Committee. Now, to that effect, the Nigerian police spokesperson had put out a statement saying that he dismissed the claims that 3,907 firearms were missing from its armory, and he said that these allegations were not true and try to clear the case on this. Well, to go in depth into this discussion, we're joined by Darlington Omoro. He's a security expert and he joins us live from Lagos. Darlington, many thanks for being patient with us. And let's just get right into it, shall we? Now, there's a lot to unpack here. You know, guns missing or not missing. Both ends have their own version of this situation. But it doesn't seem like we're more secure now than before. So how do you weigh in on this discussion?
Well, the report as claimed by the police was one done by the committee in 2018 or 2019. But well, let me go straight. Let me say this to Nigerians. At least I am privy to have done 2 armory courses where I have certificates. Now, in armory, there's what we call armory register for stock taking and stock delivery. In that armory register, personnel are meant to sign in those registers the firearms and ammunition that they are taking away on daily basis. And then when they return such firearms and ammunition, they are also expected to sign in to have returned those firearms and ammunition. And then the armory supervisor now will check with what the personnel had taken and what he had returned, whether there is a correspondence. Now you are expected to write, if, for instance, you left with 5 ammo, and then you came back with the firearms and maybe 2, 3 pallets, then you are expected now to give report, write a report on why they are not complete. That report will be in the register for stock taking at the end of the day, so somebody will be able to account for what has happened. Now, in the absence of that, when a personnel is killed in the war front, whether by the armed robbers, whether by the bandits, the one with all of them are bandits, both the armed robber and the kidnappers, whether by terrorists or all of that, it is also expected that such will also be documented in that armory register to state that on so date, Lagbaja signed in for, let's use an AKM with, say, a magazine loaded with 21 rounds, live ammunition now. And then they did not come back because Lagbaja was attacked. Or well, in an operation they attended, he died in the course, and then the firearms and ammo were stolen by hoodlums or by these criminals. Now, it will also have been reflected in the register by the supervisor, which will be passed on to the armory manager, who will now endorse to say, okay, well, this was what happened. Now, in the course of stock taking subsequently, it will now be reflected that AKM code number 2341 was signed in by Lagbaja on 22 or 22nd of December, but did not come back because Lagbaja was killed, according to the statement or the incident that would have been recorded against the missing of right. So if you have all of that, at the end of the day, it will be glaring. Because look, in the military or paramilitary or where the security agencies now, what has happened is not limited to the police. It's not even limited to the military. Because we have seen situations where terrorists will even attack the military just to take away their firearms and further equip them. It's on two sides. We are talking about the state actor here and then the non-state actors. The non-state actors will do anything just to further enhance their own armor by killing the state actors and taking away their own armor. Now, there's a rule and it's a law. For a state actor, it is not easy for him to lose the firearm. In fact, in some bodies, it is even stated that it is better for that personnel to die than allow his armory to be taken away by hoodlums. So that is why you see that they want to protect the firearm more than even their own wives at home. So it is not just enough to say, the police have said that as at the time that stock taking was made, that some of those firearms were even with some personnel who were carrying out their lawful duties on that day. Now, that is not to take away the fact that many of these firearms have been taken away by hoodlums in the course of killing some police personnel. So it is neither here nor there, but the fear is that if 3,900 and something is missing from the police armory, well, not across the nation, it meant that a minimum of 2,000 policemen would have been felled.
Right, Darlington.
For those ammunition to have been taken away by either blocks or yes.
Yes. Now, in other stories, another related story concerning security, the DSS have said that only the best is good enough when it comes to hiring. And so it begs to ask the question whether or not academic qualification or rather the best when it comes to academic, and by best I mean they are saying, you know, first class graduates are the best hires for this job. Is this the strongest yardstick for hiring intelligence officers?
It's wrong. That's wrong. I saw that story. I think that thing was delivered. That paper was delivered at one of the universities, and then he was saying that first class materials should be those, you know, be put into the DSS. That's wrong. I think one thing he missed is that there's Intel. Let me define what Intel is in the security balance. Intel is simply defined as information and information plus a process. You process an information to give you intel. There's difference between brilliance and intelligence. He is missing, the DSS has missed or deliberately want to juxtapose intelligence on, brilliance on intelligence. If I made a first class, it has nothing to do with my intelligence. If I made a third class, it has nothing to do with my power of intel. Now, if I am brilliant, I could read, I could cram, I could do everything. It's different from me being able to, it's different from me having the ability to process information to give me intel. There are two different things. That I got first class does not necessarily interpret the fact that I am intelligent. It simply states that I am brilliant. So let us not mix these two together.
Or rather, I simply state that I just read my books really well and I passed my examination. I mean, so, well, I mean, Darlington, this is, I wish we had enough time to continue this discussion, but many thanks for doing this and joining us. Darlington Umoru is a security expert. Just give us a bit of insight on the trending insecurity stories regarding the 3,907 missing firearms from the police and also their statements as well from the police. And many thanks. We appreciate you for coming on. We switch gears from insecurity now to the north, as the Arewa Consultative Forum has rejected remarks attributed to All Progressives Congress National Chairman Umaru Ganduje, suggesting that the north should wait until 2031 for a shot at the presidency. Northern leaders insist that no single individual can dictate the region's political future, dismissing Ganduje's warning to northern politicians against contesting in 2027. Ganduje reportedly declared that President Bola Tinubu would complete 2 terms, urging northern aspirants to abandon any ambitions for the next election cycle. The ACF and other key voices in the north have condemned the statement, stressing that the decision on presidential candidacy should be left to the electorate. The 6 governors of Nigeria's southwest region have arrived at Lagos House Ikeja for a high-level zonal meeting focused on regional growth and development. The Southwest Governors Forum meeting, hosted by its chairman, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is attended by Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, Ekiti State Governor Governor Biodun Oyebanji, and Ogun State Governor Dakbo Abiodun, as well as Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke. The closed-door session, which commenced at 12:15 p.m. following the governor's arrival, will address critical issues including agriculture, food security, economic collaboration, security, and the proposed Southwest Development Commission. And on to the meeting of the Southwest governors that's also holding in Lagos. Let's bring in Omolola Ololade, who's on the ground at Alausa monitoring the proceedings. Omolola, you were there and you witnessed the governors arriving, and now the meeting is underway. What more can you tell us at this time?
Good afternoon, Judith. Yeah, we're presently at the State House, here in Alausa, Ikeja, where the chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has hosted the other 5 governors, talking about the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, followed by Ogun State Governor Dakbo Abiodun, Osun State Governor Adedamola Adeleke, and the governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayedatiwa, and Governor of Ekiti State, Dapo Oyebanji. So, these governors arrived at about 12 p.m. and the meeting started shortly afterwards at 12:15 p.m. And it's been a closed-door meeting. It's been going on for about 3 hours now. And then, the meeting is expected to focus on key regional issues such as food security, agriculture, economic collaborations, and other, important issues burdening about the Southwest.
Yeah, Omolola, I must say that there's so much on the itinerary to be discussed today. Food security, securities of economic collaboration, and of course the establishment of the Southwest Development Commission. What do you see, what do you think would come out of this discussion at the end of today?
Well, because, the meeting, besides the governors all present here today, we've had the presence of other stakeholders, especially security agencies and, agriculture. Everyone is present here to ensure that the outcome of the meeting is, is a positive one. And we have, we are on ground to ensure that we get what the takeaway from the meeting is. And of course, we're here for the governor, which of course the chairman, governor of Lagos State, to address us on whatever the outcome of the meeting is.
Well, Omolola, many thanks. We appreciate you for coming on. Omolola Lade there, who is at the Lausa, the Government House, just following the meetings from the Southwest Governors Forum. It's going to a short break. When we come back, there's more. Stay here. And you're welcome back. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has officially confirmed Udo Okoye as a substantive National Secretary. A statement from PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, said the National Working Committee made the decision after reviewing legal judgments affirming Okoye's position. The NWC confirmed or considered a High Court ruling in Enugu, a Court of Appeal judgment, and legal opinions from top lawyers, including Dr. Kabiru Turika. The statement emphasized that the confirmation aligns with court rulings and that no superior judgment contradicts Okoye's appointment. With this decision, Okoye is now fully recognized as the PDP's National Secretary. Away from that, the Nigeria Labour Congress has called on Nigerian workers and citizens to boycott the services of telecom operators daily between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. starting today in protest against a recent telecoms tariff hike. This follows the implementation of a 50% tariff increase approved by the Nigerian Communications Commission, with one of the operators ruling it out on Monday. In a communique signed by NLC President Joe Ajero and General Secretary Emmanuel Ogbuaja, the union urged Nigerians to suspend data purchases from the affected telecom operators, accusing them of exploiting consumers. The NLC has also warned that if the companies failed to revert the old tariff by the end of February 2025, a full-scale shutdown of the operations nationwide will begin on March 1st. Earlier, we're joined by public affairs analyst Theophilus Akatugba, who gave us some insight into this matter. Take a look.
The telecom companies have not increased their tariffs arbitrarily, and they have not done so over a long period of time. And they have been running their businesses under very, high cost and costs that are continuing to increase. Since the deregulation of the exchange rate, the floating of the currency, the increase in petroleum prices, and all other incidental costs that have come upon the telecom companies. They have asked for so much in increments, and something less than they asked for has been approved. One must give consideration, because everywhere we are engaged in commercial activities, we find that prices have gone up, and people are no longer able to render their services at the previous prices. Everyone is asking for the markets, so it's evidence that prices are going up. People are complaining. And so that the NLC is complaining is understood. So my opinion is that the telecom company deserves to raise prices, but whether 50% is too much or midway, none of us know truly, because we don't have...
And today marks World Radio Day, a UNESCO-designated celebration recognizing radio's powerful influence on society. This year's theme, Radio and Climate Change, underscores the growing environmental threats, particularly in Nigeria, where communities grapple with rising temperatures, devastating floods, and coastal erosion. As a trusted medium, radio plays a vital role in educating the public, mobilizing communities, and driving climate action. With its vast reach, it spreads awareness, connects people in times of crisis, and empowers solutions to environmental challenges. Experts say harnessing radio for climate education could spark meaningful change and promote long-term sustainability. And welcome back. The bodies of 14 South African National Defense Force soldiers who died in combat against M23 rebels in Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, have been repatriated and will be handed over to their families. A memorial service is underway at Air Force Base Swartkop in Pretoria, where President Cyril Ramaphosa will formally return the soldiers to their loved ones. Earlier this week, International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola dismissed claims that South Africa's involvement in the conflict was reckless, insisting that the government remains committed to peace and stability in the region. Dozens of displaced people are evacuating a camp in Goma, eastern DR Congo, after the Rwandan-backed M23 armed group issued a 72-hour ultimatum. Camp officials confirmed the warning, which has left many with no safe place to go. M23 seized control of Goma last month, escalating violence in the region. Thousands remain stranded as humanitarian agencies struggle to provide aid amid the ongoing conflict.
Na mwenye anawezi tusofeka msaada kidogo, anawezi saidia. Tuko na batate humu, tuko na babilema, na kuko wenye habana kwenye kwa kwenda. Leo tuko arafikiana ku vitu venye hatukuwazaka na mbele.
Hatuna nafasi ya kwenda, kwetu Masisi washapiga masasi, manyumba zishabomoka, ni pori. Hakuna manatokaka hapa sasa taenda lima. Hakuna manatokaka hapa sasa taenda vunja kuni. Ukaenda lima wanakubakia kule au wanakukatakata
Si hatuna maisha. Kwenye tunaenda hatuwe kama tunaenda wapi, nyumba zishalunguziwa, washabomola. Kwenye tunaenda hatuwe kama tunaenda ishia wapi. Chakula hakuna, kwa kulala fasi ya kulala hakuna. Na yake tunaona saa kinzi ndege inakuwa mumuti. Na vile ndo tuko na sendo vile tu.
Vous savez, d'une manière générale, les agences des Nations Unies sont confrontées à un sérieux problème de financement et aussi l'aéroport qui sert de ligne de ravitaillement est actuellement fermé. Donc les conditions sont extrêmement difficiles. En collaboration avec d'autres agences, nous avons organisé une mission conjointe interagences sur les villages de retour. L'objectif principal de cette mission, c'est de faire l'évaluation, voir les besoins imminents, les plus précieux, pour qu'on puisse planifier une certaine assistance pour la population.
Ugandan opposition leader Kizza Besigye is reportedly critically ill in jail 3 days into a hunger strike protesting his detention. His lawyer has called for urgent medical intervention, warning that his condition is deteriorating rapidly. His lawyer said Kizza Besigye, who is refusing food in protest of what he calls an illegal detention, was too weak to attend his court hearings. He insists that the prison hospital lacks the necessary facilities to treat him and urges authorities to allow external medical care to prevent a life-threatening situation. Besigye, once the president's personal doctor, fell out with the government 25 years ago and has since become a key opposition figure challenging Ugandan's president in 4 presidential elections. And you welcome back. We will switch gears now to Abuja, where live scenes are currently happening. We'll bring you that scene. In the meantime, let's move to Germany. At least 20 people have been injured after a car plowed into a crowd in Munich, Germany on Thursday, a day before the city's high-profile security conference. Emergency services confirmed that a Mini Cooper struck a group of striking workers from the Verdi Union. Several victims are reported to be in a critical condition. Authorities have detained a driver who is not considered a threat. Eyewitnesses say a person was strapped under the vehicle while police reportedly fired at the car's window. Investigations into the circumstances of the incident are ongoing.
Eine Situation ist, die im Prinzip millionenfach jeden Tag, zu jeder Stunde, an jedem Ort unseres Landes im Prinzip so stattfinden kann. Insofern kann ich eine solche Situation nicht von vornherein verhindern. Wir müssen sehen, wo sind Personen, die gefährlich sind. Aber auch hier gilt, soweit wir im Moment wissen, ist der Täter bislang durch Ladendiebstähle.
U.S. President Donald Trump has promised to end the Ukraine war swiftly, but his approach is raising concerns about America's long-term strategy. After speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump directed U.S. officials to initiate peace talks. However, comments from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have triggered alarm as he suggested Ukraine's pre-2014 borders and NATO partnership membership, are part of the deal. Now, critics, including former Ambassador Michael McPhail, question why the U.S. is making concessions to Russia before talks even began. As European leaders respond with unease, fears grow that Ukraine is being sidelined in the face of Moscow's demands. That's all that we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Police headquarters has fired back at Nigerian Senate, denies claims of missing firearms. Zamfara communities are crying out as new terror group Dan Sadi causes untold hardship for locals. And we also told you about memorial service that is ongoing in South Africa to honor 14 soldiers who died in the war in Congo. As always, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, on Star Times channel 274. You can also find us on Apple TV and stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV.